In the heart of Valenorth, where the sky met the shimmering waterfalls, the young mage Aelen stood trembling, clutching the whispering stone. Its smooth surface pulsated gently, whispering secrets only he could hear. It had all started that morning, when the earth beneath the small village of Eldertide shivered with an ancient whisper that sent terror through his core. "Aelen," called a voice, cutting through the fog of his thoughts. It was Joran, the thief who had mysteriously appeared in Eldertide 3 winters ago. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Perhaps I have," Aelen replied, trying to steady his voice. Joran raised an eyebrow, a mischievous glint in his eye. "There are no ghosts, only stories waiting to be told. Now will you tell me why the ground just shivered under our feet?" Aelen hesitated, the weight of the whispering stone heavy in his hands. "It's the stone. It's awakened something." Joran leaned in closer, his interest piqued. "Awakened what?" Before Aelen could answer, a blinding light erupted from the stone, illuminating the dense forest around them and casting long shadows that danced like specters. "A warning," whispered Aelen, his voice barely audible over the sound of his own racing heartbeat. In the distance, they heard a deep rumbling, as if the very earth was awakening from a long slumber. "We need to move," Joran urged, his voice now devoid of its usual humor. Together they sprinted through the forest, the whispering stone guiding their path. Their journey was just beginning, but already the stakes were high. The whispers of Nyldraen had been unleashed, and the fate of Valenorth hung precariously in the balance. As the first light of dawn broke over the dense canopy above, Aelen and Joran emerged from the shadowy depths of Eldertide's encompassing woods. The village lay quiet behind them, oblivious to the impending doom whispered by the ancient relic Aelen held. "This better not be one of those adventures where we get caught and thrown into a dungeon," Joran murmured as they forged onward, attempting to lighten the ominous air with jest, though his tone betrayed his growing concern. Aelen glanced at him, the weight of their unenviable task mirrored in his own eyes. "I wish I could promise that," he replied, clutching the whispering stone tighter. "But whatever is bound beneath the earth is stirring. The stone's warnings are unmistakable." Their path led them along the crystalline river Ninth, a lifeline through the magical heart of Valenorth. It was said that those with an ear acute enough could hear the river sing, tales of forgotten ages flowing with its currents. Today, even Joran's light-hearted banter couldn't drown out the ominous hum threading through the air. A flurry of rapid footsteps disrupted the symphony. From behind a copse, a figure leapt onto the path, lute-string cutting through the air like an echo of courage. "Running this early? Must be special to pull you from bed, Joran." The bard Lyra stood with a confident grin, her presence as vibrant as the sun-kissed flowers in her hair. Joran laughed. "Special indeed, and twice as dangerous." Lyra turned her gleaming gaze to Aelen, reading the stern lines of worry on his face. "Magic's off today, isn't it?" she asked, serious now. "Worse," Aelen admitted, gesturing to the whispering stone. "We have to reach Stonewatch Keep before nightfall. We've little time to lose." As if heralded by the gravity of his words, another rumble shook the ground. From the shifting sands of time and destiny, the swirling mysteries of their path emerged, a tapestry of fate they could weave only together. "Fancy that!" Lyra exclaimed, remarkably unfazed. "Let's make haste, then. The world isn't going to save itself." With renewed purpose, the trio pressed on to confront a darkness older than night itself, its insidious whispers threatening to breach the threshold of Valenorth's enchantment. By midday, Aelen, Joran, and Lyra had pushed deeper past the boundaries of the familiar. A trepidatious silence clung to the realm around them, nature holding its breath. With each step toward the rising silhouette of Stonewatch Keep, the power of the whispering stone seemed to grow, its aura melding with the size of the forest. Suddenly a deep growl echoed, cutting through the silence like a knife. Branches snapped, and a massive figure charged at them. A tower of steel named Garrick, who had always matched his strength of arm with a strength of spirit. "Hold!" commanded Garrick, his voice as stern as a winter's gale, but warm with recognition as he saw his companions. His armor glinted with the starlight's memory, and his eyes held within them histories untold. "What brings you this far from the village? It's not safe here." "You always did enjoy a dramatic entrance, didn't you, Garrick?" Joran quipped, though there was relief in his voice. Garrick's expression remained steely, though a smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. Some habits are hard to break. His gaze shifted to Aelen. The stone guides you? Aelen nodded, feeling the weight of Garrick's question pressed into his very soul. The seal that holds Nyldraen's will is weakening. The stone calls us to Stonewatch. We need to find the Tome of Shadows before nightfall. Its wisdom may be all that stands between order and oblivion. Garrick nodded solemnly. Then there's no time to waste. But beware, the forest is no longer a sanctuary. Shadows skulk within, eager to hinder our path. The four set off together, the Whispering Stones serving as both their beacon and their burden. Their path twisted through ancient trees, sentinels that had witnessed ages of magic and mayhem. As the shadows lengthened, they emerged at the foot of Stonewatch Keep, its formidable ramparts standing tall against the darkening sky. Hope mingled with dread in the air. Whatever lies within, we'll face it together, Garrick declared, reaching for the mighty door. And so they ventured into the unknown, their fate tethered to the secrets contained within the keep, whispers of Nyldraen lingering around them like ghosts yearning to be heard. Inside Stonewatch Keep, the air was thick with age and secrets. Cobwebs curtained the corners and dust lay like a burial shroud over the remnants of forgotten times. The walls, once vibrant with the pulse of ancient magic, seemed almost to sag under the weight of years. If anyone still calls this home, they'd be right displeased with the state of it, Lyra quipped, running her fingers through the dust on an ornate banister. Joran's eyes swept the grand hall, noting half-open doors and countless shadows. Let's hope the Tome of Shadows isn't living up to its name, he murmured. We should split up to cover more ground, Aelen suggested, though even he hesitated at the idea. He could feel the pulsating energy of the Whispering Stone, warning of imminent peril. Safety in numbers, Garrick asserted, the resolve of a true protector undiminished by the haunted air surrounding them. We stay together. Whatever comes, we'll face it as one. Aelen nodded, grateful for Garrick's unyielding spirit. He led the way deeper into the keep, the others following closely. Their footsteps echoed, an unnerving sound that rebounded into silence like a ghost of the past. The group rounded a corner into a grand library. Immense bookshelves towered, crammed with tomes that documented eons of forgotten lore. The Weaver of Fate himself couldn't recall all that was housed within these walls. Now, let's hope I remember where the tome is, Aelen muttered, proceeding slowly through the rows. Lyra's lute plucked a hopeful tune as she offered. Sometimes, music's the key to memory. It was Garrick who located the tome. Nestled between leather-clad tomes and scrolls of vellum, its cover gleamed like a star forgotten. Ah, here we are. Let's hope it holds the answers we seek. As Aelen reached for the book, the Whispering Stone hummed a note of warning. The air grew tense, and a ripple of shadows began to coalesce in the dusty lamplight. We must hurry, Aelen said, urgency sharpening his voice. Once awakened, Nyldraen will prove unforgiving. We have only this night to prepare. With the Tome of Shadows in hand, they gathered their courage, ready to face the serpentine coils of fate and uncoil whatever magics had been sealed away for ages untold. Their journey had twisted tighter toward the heart of Valenorth's enigma, as hope and magic danced precariously on the knife's edge of destiny. With the Tome of Shadows securely in their grasp, the group navigated through the echoing halls of Stonewatch Keep, their path lit by the dim glow of embers from forgotten braziers. The weight of ancient knowledge clung to the tome like mist to a forgotten valley. They settled in a chamber against the great window where moonlight spilled in like a silver waterfall. Aelen carefully placed the tome upon a dust-laden table, its presence commanding respect. Joran leaned over, eyes gleaming with curiosity. "What mysteries do you think it holds?" Joran queried, glancing around as though the answer lurked within the very walls. Aelen opened the tome with deliberate care, feeling the Whispering Stone thrumming steadily in his pocket. Secrets of Valenorth's ancient misfortunes, presumably, and a way to bind the darkness again. Lyra cast a wary eye toward the swirling shadows that seemed to inch closer. "We could use a little light in this dance of shadows," she quipped, though her voice reflected genuine concern. "Very well," Aelen acknowledged, speaking softly, as though to the tome itself. "Let's shed light on these spells." He began to scan the wrought pages, their scripts more akin to music notes than text. There was a rhythm to the words, a melodic cadence, as if the solutions were woven into the essence of the verses. Garrick stood sentinel, his eyes never leaving the door, ready to protect his companions from dangers both ancient and present. "We tread upon hallowed ground," he murmured. "We must not take this task lightly." As Aelen deciphered the encoded passages, a revelation unfurled in his mind, a method to temporarily bind the dark entity until its seal could endure anew. It was an intricate process, demanding courage, sacrifice, and profound understanding of the land's ley lines. A surge of determination coursed through him. "We have a chance," Aelen declared, the spark of newfound knowledge lighting his eyes. "The ley lines, they converge under the Vault of Whispers. We can channel their power to restrain Nyldraen." Joran tilted his head, eyebrows raised in questioning. "What's the catch, then?" Aelen hesitated only a moment. "The process requires a catalyst, a willing heart forged of magic." The room fell silent, tension coiling as tightly as the enchantment they were about to wield. Despite the risk, they resolved to proceed. The shadow of responsibility was theirs to bear. By dawn, they'd set their course for the vault, their spirits bolstered by resolve and camaraderie. As Valenorth slumbered beneath a blanket of stars, their paths were braided together, destiny nudging them toward an uncertain future, one they'd face, together. As the first hues of dawn painted the sky, the group set out toward the Vault of Whispers, each step laden with a sobering sense of urgency. The path wove through the storied Spindrift Woods, where legends and reality twined as tightly as the branches above. The Whispering Stone's pulse was steady in Aelen's hand, a reassuring presence amid the encroaching shadows. As they ventured deeper into the woods, an ethereal chorus of bird calls began to weave with the rustle of leaves, crafting a melody both haunting and beautiful. "Our time runs short," Garrick intoned, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword, senses attuned to their surroundings. He treated every rustle as a potential threat, every whisper of wind as a harbinger. Lyra hummed, plucking her lute in tandem with the forest's song, a brave counterpoint to the fear nipping at their heels. "Keep your spirits high, friends. We'll need every ounce of courage we can muster." Orin smiled wryly, though his eyes scanned their surroundings for danger. "And maybe a little luck. I've always believed fortune favors the boldest threads of fate." Aelen hesitated, his eyes trained on the looming shadows of the forest. "And yet, it's more than fate at work. Something watches us. The forest itself is alive, aware." Before he could voice another thought, a figure emerged from the dense foliage, spectral and silent, a sentinel of the woods whose eyes glowed with an untold history. "Travelers, heed my warning," the Spirit Walker spoke, voice resonating like the rustling leaves. "The path ahead is fraught with peril, but the heart of Valenorth stands ready to aid those deemed worthy." "A test, then?" Joran queried, his intrigue piqued, always the willing participant in a gamble. The Spirit's gaze settled upon Aelen, as though seeing through flesh to the very essence of his magic. "A test of will and purpose." "We accept," Aelen replied, feeling the Whispering Stone flare bright, bathing them in its glow. "We have come to mend, to protect this land from the darkness that stirs." With that, the Spirit nodded, gesturing deeper into the forest where the ley lines converged with a glow visible to the soul more than the eye. "For Valenorth," Garrick stated with quiet determination. As they pressed onward, the veil between the physical and the magical grew thin, threads of destiny pulling them inexorably toward the Vault of Whispers. Yoked by purpose and united by fate, their resolve hardened like steel against a forging flame. The vault awaited, shadowed history within its depths, ready to reveal secrets that could save or doom their world. With the Spirit Walker's warning still ringing in their ears, the companions pushed forward, feeling the embrace of the forest tighten around them. The pathway twisted like a serpent, leading them ever closer to the hidden heart of Valenorth, the Vault of Whispers. As they neared their destination, Aelen felt the rhythm of the earth aligning beneath their feet. The ley lines throbbed with ancient power, echoing the pulse of the Whispering Stone and threading their fate with the fibers of the world itself. Lyra adjusted her lute, eyes scanning the underbrush. "If I've learned anything from my tales, it's that treasures have a nasty habit of guarding themselves." "They're not alone," Joran added, noting spectral figures flitting through the mist, as if the tales themselves had taken form. Best keep our wits sharp and our shadows shorter. Garrick moved calmly, his demeanor as solid as the oaths that bound him. We are here not for conquest, but for guardianship. Let that guide our hands and hearts. As they approached the entrance of the vault, an aura of palpable energy encompassed them, swirling mists shifting to reveal the great stone door engraved with glyphs that shimmered in the dim light. "Looks inviting," Joran remarked, though his hand hovered near his dagger. Aelen stepped forward, the whispering stone held aloft as its glow intensified, reacting to the intricate glyphs. Words long forgotten seemed to sing from the stone, forming a resonance that matched the vault's lock. Both courage and fear coursed through him as he spoke the incantation that came unbidden to his lips, open for those with hearts true and intentions pure. With a rumble like distant thunder, the great door creaked open, revealing an expanse filled with the hum of latent magic. The interior of the vault was vast, a cavern eternal and echoing, histories layered like the strata of the earth. In the center, a pedestal held a crystal, the very core of the ley lines, the heart of Nyldraen. Its glow was mesmerizing, encompassing the room in an ethereal tapestry. Aelen stepped forward, the whispering stone in hand, his companions a protective circle around him. "This is the moment," he spoke, his voice tinged with both awe and purpose. As he reached out, the crystal pulsed a vivid light, syncing with his own heartbeat. Its power seeped through him, a blend of warmth and responsibility as he prepared to bind the dark force. "We stand with you," murmured Garrick, and Aelen felt the strength of their resolve locked like iron beside his own. At the brink of destiny, their fates as entwined as the spells that wove around them, Aelen moved to begin the binding. United, they faced the shadows, bearing the light of hope like a banner against nightfall. In the hallowed depths of the Vault of Whispers, time seemed to suspend as Aelen drew upon the energies of the heart of Nyldraen. His fingers brushed the crystal lightly, initiating a cascade of luminescent threads that unfurled through the chamber like a radiant web. The others watched in silence, their anticipation woven with trust. Lyra played a soft, steadying tune on her lute, its harmony mingling with the hum of the ley lines. "Remember, light shines brightest when darkness looms," she whispered, her eyes meeting Aelen's with a steady courage. Joran felt the vibration through the stone floor, a reminder of the precarious balance they sought to achieve. "We've come this far, and I've yet to see a challenge we can't outwit or outlast." He smirked, though his voice held an earnest edge. Garrick moved to stand beside Aelen, a silent vow of protection. "This darkness will not consume us, nor will it claim this land. If we stand together, our strength is unwavering." With their support, Aelen began to chant the incantation from the Tome of Shadows, each word a key in the lock binding Nyldraen's spirit. The whispering stone vibrated fervently, its light merging with that of the crystal, illuminating glyphs etched into the very walls of the vault. The ground trembled, acknowledging the union of their wills with the ancient power. With each verse, Aelen felt the shadow stirring, a malevolent presence testing its confines, yet it was met unabashed by the combined fortitude of the four. "Hold fast," Garrick encouraged, sensing the palpable tension as the room seemed to swirl with energies, both light and dark, in a maelstrom of potential. The binding spell reached its crescendo, a symphony of magic that battled against the encroaching night. Nyldraen's whispers grew fevered, a last desperate plea against relinquishment, but the coalition of light held resilient. A final burst of energy cascaded through the vault, washing over the companions and leaving them bathed in a gentle glow. The air felt different, calmer, yet charged with a newfound hope. Panting slightly, Aelen withdrew his hand. The whispering stone nestled into quietude, its whispers now a gentle lull, the seal reforged for another age. "We did it," Aelen murmured, unsure if he spoke for himself or to affirm it for his friends. Lyra ceased her music, allowing a contented smile to break through. "The stories we'll tell of this day will echo through time, a testament to unity and hope." "This chapter ends well," Joran added, clapping Aelen on the shoulder, "but the world remains an ever-turning tale." As they turned to leave the vault, Garrick summed it up with a final nod. "The shadows may retreat, but it is the light we carry forth that defines the future." The journey back awaited them. A renewed land under their feet, and endless possibilities stretching before them, a testament to the strength found in unity and resolve. The journey back through the Spindrift Woods was markedly different from their initial trek. Where before there had been whispers of threat and shadow looming at the edges of perception, there was now an air of calm confidence, an echo of the victory they had secured together. The forest itself seemed to bask in new life, leaves glistening in the sunlight and creatures stirring with a renewed vigor. Aelen felt the whispering stone rest quietly against his side, its voice a gentle hum of assurance now, rather than a call to arms. "Lyra, how's about a tune to match our triumph?" Joran requested, his mood buoyant as he danced over roots and stones. Lyra obliged, strumming her lute with an upbeat tempo that reflected the lightness in their hearts. "This one's for us and the courage found in friendship," she declared, adding her voice to the melody in a celebration of harmony and courage. As they walked, Garrick kept his pace measured, eyes watchful but relaxed for the first time in days. "It's as if the very land breathes easier now," he said, his deep voice blending smoothly with the notes around them. "Our work has granted this reprieve, though vigilance must follow," Aelen replied, his hand grazing the bark of an ancient tree, feeling its pulse steadier than he'd ever known. Reaching the edge of the forest, the village of Eldertide came into view, its inhabitants going about their daily lives, unaware of the hero's deeds and the darkness averted. There was a profound satisfaction in knowing what they had achieved would echo quietly in the hearts of their homeland. As they entered Eldertide, warm greetings met them, unaware whispers already transforming into legends of their quest. Faces turned toward them with beams of gratitude and curiosity. One elder approached, eyes alight with understanding. "The Whispering Stone seeks a caretaker as much as a companion," he said, nodding towards Aelen. "You've listened well, young mage. The balance remains, thanks to your resolve." As they shared tales around a roaring fire, laughter and camaraderie rippled like warm waves on a gentle sea. For the first time in what seemed like a lifetime, Aelen found himself laughing freely, feeling the bond of friendship wrap around his heart like a balm. Darkness would always lie in waiting, as certain as the rising dawn, but for the moment, their path was lit by the bonds they forged in the depths of trial. As the night wove on, stars danced above, silently weaving tales of victory and unity across the endless tapestries of the skies. All knew they would need to remain vigilant, their lives now entwined with the fate of Valenorth, but they embraced the challenge with newfound determination. In that moment, they were bound not only by their shared adventure, but by the profound understanding that the realm had granted them a second chance. The stage was set for the final act, a beginning as much as an ending, illuminated by hope. As dawn broke on what felt like a new world, Aelen awoke to the chorus of Eldertide, sounds of life flowering in the wake of their journey. Warm rays of sunlight streamed through the window, casting a golden glow over the village below. The tranquility was a cherished reprieve, yet Aelen knew their victory was but a chapter in the ongoing saga of Valenorth. The Whispering Stone rested beside his bed, its surface gleaming gently, a trust bestowed upon him, a connection to both the past's echoes and the future's promise. A soft knock at the door heralded the arrival of his friends. Garrick's stoic visage was softened by a rare smile, Lyra's eyes dancing with mischief, and Joran, ever the trickster, balancing a wooden platter of breakfast precariously in hand. "No rest for the hero, I see," Joran quipped, setting down the platter with a flourish. "I present sustenance for the soul-saving champion." Aelen chuckled, the camaraderie a balm to the lingering shadows. Over breakfast, they discussed the next steps. Even with Nyldraen's darkness contained, the magic woven through Valenorth needed nurturers and defenders. "Our work isn't done," Garrick noted, steady gaze meeting Aelen's. "We've restored balance, but vigilance is our new duty." Lyra nodded, her lute resting gently by her side. "Songs will sing of our deeds, but it's the unwritten verses of what comes next that hold the true test." "We're not just guarding a realm," Aelen reflected, feeling the weight of the Whispering Stone's gentle hum, but inspiring it, showing that hope isn't just a story to tell, but a light to live by. Their conversation continued, weaving plans and laying the groundwork for a new era in which magic flowed freely yet responsibly through the veins of Valenorth. Each carried a unique strength, a role that melded individual talent into collective purpose. As they ventured outside, the villagers had gathered, gratitude woven into the very air. Children played, their laughter a joyful anthem harmonizing with the new dawn. Elders looked on, eyes shining with pride for the protectors in their midst. Eldertide's chief approached the group, gratitude etching deep lines of joy across his face. The realm owes you a debt, one that cannot be repaid in words or deeds. Aelen shook his head, humbled by the sentiment. We were but the threads, woven together by the whisper of our calling. As the day waned, their resolve matured into a shared vision. Together, they would safeguard the land against future threats, standing as stalwart guardians of Valenorth's promise. And as the stars began their unveiling, painted across the night sky, each member of the group felt the invisible bond tying them together, born from the heart of valiant endeavor, the whispers of Nyldraen echoing now not in turmoil, but in peace. Their story didn't end here, it rippled through time, like the river of magic that had shaped their destinies. And with every step they took, they carried an unyielding light, a testament to the courage and alliance forged under the guidance of ancient whispers.